aka Eileen the Little Crafter. Additional information about this show, arts, crafts, and everything in between, and my YouTube show, The Little Crafter Show, can be found on my website, EileenTheLittleCrafter.com. Alrighty, guys. So, wow. I can't believe the holiday season is pretty much upon us. Holy camoly. And I feel like I still got a ton of stuff to take care of. So, I would say to David, I'm like, wow, ladies are already making their gifts, their ornaments, and it's crazy. Like, what happened to Turkey Day? I kind of see why. It is a lot of work. So I guess, I kind of owe them a little apology there. I may have to start doing that, like, as soon as, like, after Turkey Day, or start a little bit here and there in November, because, whoa, I feel like I'm like, oh man, am I going to make this stuff in time? Holy camoly. But I'm having fun. I'm working on it. I'm doing my thing, It is what it is. So yeah. Anyway, guys, so today I wanted to talk to you guys about some tips and tricks to what I've learned about YouTubing and being a podcaster. It's been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot over my 10 years, and I think I've been podcasting for maybe a year, going on 2. And I'll talk about podcasting first. I think that it's been really fun. I have to say. And normally I don't really have a script, but every now and again I do try to have, something prepared in my head, a topic that I like to talk about, or something that really interests me, or something that I know that I'm going to give like my 100% real reaction. So I think that being real, being real, meaning be yourself and have fun with it, is one of the key things that I'm noticing. Pick topics that that you're really passionate about. Like, I'm passionate about, my arts and my crafts. But like I said before, the reason why I chose this podcast was because arts, crafts, and everything in between, was because sometimes I kind of feel weird about talking about certain things or being in front of the camera. Or sometimes it's just easier to grab the phone and say, hey, I'm gonna what is that? Talk about this topic, or may not be related. So that's when the everything in between comes in. And so, have a good base, understand where you want to be, like talk about, not where you want to be, we'll talk about, try and be consistent, and encourage your audience to be engaged, and be grateful, like, when you get listens, because I am truly grateful for that. I think that being humble and true to yourself, and having a clear vision of where you want to have your podcast, what is that? What I want to say is to have a clear vision of what you want your podcast to represent. So that's, I think, good. Originally, I kind of wanted it just to be more about, the arts and my crafts. But then I noticed that there are a bunch of other topics that I really like to talk about. And so therefore, I kind of was like, you know what? It's okay. Every now and again, if it slips off more into the in-between, and then some years I'll go back to the arts, and then sometimes I'll just go back into crafting or whatever. I mean, so it is what it is. And because I do like talking about what I watch on TV. I do love talking about other things that I am passionate and have fun with. So, and I feel like on my YouTube channel, I can't really talk about that, because, not that I can't. I feel like, I try to keep more of that crafting related as much as possible. I mean, there are a few videos there about chatting, vacation stuff, every now and again, but not as much as when I'm talking to you guys about, what we did, how we're doing, this, that, and the third. So, Okay, so that's enough about that. So like I said, you want to pick a name that you are going to really love. You want to pick a clear vision for your topics, and you want to be real and true to yourself and grateful to your audience. And so I think those tips for, being a podcaster are, and art, the art. You want to pick, like, let's say an icon that really represents you, and something that you're going to enjoy looking at. I was lucky enough to have Brian Seminis do my artwork for both my shows, and I just love it. The reason why I chose a cat is because, hey, I love cats, and it had to have a green eye. I don't know, because I love the color green, and I wanted to keep it pretty simple, black and white and green, and I loved it. I look at it and I go, wow, that's mine, yay! So I'm super stoked about that. I still, to this day, I look at my icon and I'm like, oh, that's mine. Yay, that's definitely mine. So yeah. And I know, I just realized something also, like when you're sitting down filling out all this information about what you want your show to represent, how you want to, what subtitles, like what categories and what subcategories. It was really, 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 really hard for me. And I had a hard time. I'm like, oh, do I want this or do I want that? So I just basically was like, okay. I just went with my gut as best as possible. And I hope that has paid off. So those are my little tips and tricks about, podcasting. Like I said, I haven't done it a lot. I do share it with my YouTube channel. You can have a separate YouTube channel if you want that. But I just figured this would be easier for me. And so far it's been working out okay. I do promote. I have my social media, and that's the reason why I have the little crafter, because I have my website, Eileen the Little Crafter. I put that the podcast on my website. So heavily, promoting myself as possible. Self-promotion over here. I try to keep the little Eileen the Little Crafter, the name, because I kind of feel like it it leads into, oh, she does podcasting, oh, she does crafting, so she's, it's kind of like what they talk about on YouTube, branding yourself. So I kind of branded myself as Eileen the Little Crafter. And the reason why I chose the Little Crafter Show, because originally it was just supposed to be like a little show, nothing really huge and big, and then it kind of morphed into something this big. And then, as you guys know, I got the itch to start the podcast. So you want to also pick a name, like, let's say if you pick a name like Harvey the Mechanic, you can use it for, like, let's say social media. Like for me, it's a little hard. Like, let's say for my Twitter account, I could put only E Little Crafter. So, because there's too many letters, you have to have a certain amount of letters in there. So I was like, okay, what could I put? Like, what would be... So I said, okay, I'm E the Little Crafter. And the reason why I have my name to it is because there is a Little Crafter show out there already. And when I was Googling to see whether or not if people can, access the website, without any issues, I noticed that there was another Little Crafter show ahead of me. And I was like, what could I use to differentiate myself from that that particular brand? So that's the reason why I put Eileen Little Crafter. And, because it's my name, and I had to think on the fly over there. And so that's the reason why I picked Eileen Little Crafter. And the website, the blog has, it's Eileen Little Crafter's blog. Instagram is Eileen _the_little_crafter. So that basically I kind of try and tie it in as much as possible so that people know that it's me. So I kind of took that idea of like from YouTube about branding yourself onto other platforms so that I can try and build upon that. And then I heard that hey, that's a technique that people use quite often. So I was like, oh, okay. I honestly never heard that tip, so it was pretty interesting to me. So those are the tips that you can use on your whatchamacallit. Now let's just say you want to become a YouTuber. Let's just say you want to use your podcast, or you want to make your own channel. So you use the same name. Just use the same name. So that's common sense. Whatever basically you put for your show information for your podcast, just copy and paste it and put it on there. And so basically they know that it's basically the same thing. And but if you want to do something else, I would just use the same name. Or if you are just starting out, I would use a name that you are going to be happy with, that kind of represents you and something that you wouldn't mind to have in, like, let's say about 10, 20 years. I know it sounds ridiculous, but if you think about it, I've been on YouTube for 10 years, and honestly, I didn't like the original name that I had anymore, because I kind of feel like I outgrew it, HK Star Eyes, and I felt like I outgrew it, and it didn't represent my brand, what I wanted to what I want people, or what I would like for people to see me as. So I was grateful that, lucky enough that I was able to change that, and now that everybody knows that this is my channel, I have my link, and everybody know that that's my link, it's my personalized link. And so I think that thinking like that helped me. Like, it helps me understand, like, what would I want people to know me as, or what name would I not say, I don't like that name, or that name doesn't fit me. So Eileen the Little Crother definitely fits me, even though I know that the show has morphed into such kind of a bigger, not a big deal, but it kind of morphed into more crafting ideas, more crafting. It's morphed into a lot of different things, where it has mixed media now. It has Planner. It had Project Life. At one point I was doing iCads, which was not my idea, but I was joining along with the iCad group. What else? Jelly printing now and again. Because originally I just started out with, I think it was scrapbooking, cards. Yeah, I think it was more along the lines of that, and a few little things here and there, nothing really huge. And then I started saying, I want to try this, and I want to try that, and I want to make this. And so I was like, that would be interesting, for a first timer to actually sit down in front of the camera and show what I learned, and also my spin on it, because I watched tons of videos on this, I watched tons of video of that, and I kind of do it the way that I learned it, and then I kind of say, there's a different way, like I can bypass this step, or this part is easier for me, so I get a lot of inspiration from YouTube, and I hope that I give some inspiration back in some way. So like I said, you want to pick a name, you want to give yourself a good description, and let people know what social media platforms they can follow you on, so that they can follow you and they know what kind of projects you're making, or whatever it is. Like, let's say you do makeup tutorials, whether you do clothing, what else? There's a ton of stuff that YouTubers do. And you want to, like I said, you want to keep the same name as much as possible. So the description is really important. It tells everybody what your channel is about. And it's really, really important. So you may want to sit down, pen and paper, or just write it out, use Grammarly. I redid mine and I used Grammarly and I love the way it came out. So I was really happy about that. What else? I actually have not made that 1 minute trailer video, and I have been, for years now, honestly, believe it or not, when I first found out that you can do that, I've been actually thinking about what would I want that trailer to be about. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. Maybe it's time to really put up a video on that particular thing. It's just like a little video. It's a 1 minute video that tells people what your show is about, and it basically introduces you to everyone on YouTube. So so it's pretty cool. And actually YouTube does give a lot of hits and tricks, so you may want to do what they call the YouTube Academy. You may want to read that. You also would want to read, if you want to be part of the monetization program or just not get in trouble with YouTube, you may want to read as much as possible the rules and regulations, because they have changed a little bit, and therefore you may want to just double check on that. So that's really important, before you start YouTubing. Read all that and, get all that information out there, so that you already know what, is expected of you, and so that you can, make good videos and know, okay, am I gonna be, what is that? I forgot what is flagged. That's the word. Is this video going to be flagged because of X, Y, and Z? You already know, so you kind of have, the do's and don'ts right there. And you want to get a good camera, or, make sure your phone, or iPad is charged. I keep having issues with my camera because I only have one battery, so it's sorry. Lost my train of thought. I keep having issues with them, and then I have only one memory card for that camera. So, but it is what it is. I mean, I'm working with it. I gotta probably in the future get another memory card and another battery, or just start erasing things. I'm just so afraid that, what if that video, but I save things. Like, also, when you are a YouTuber, you want to get a really, really good program when you're editing your videos. I honestly used to use Windows Movie Maker, which is not a part of Windows 10 anymore, but you can still download it, which honestly, I find that is sucky, because Window Makers in the beginning was extremely good. I loved it a lot, and I found it very helpful. And I was so sad when it started crashing so much on me. They didn't update it. It just felt like it was like an afterthought. So, and you couldn't record your screen. Or I couldn't figure that out. I could not figure that out. So I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos in terms of what programs do they use, what kind of cameras, what kind of lighting, this, that, and the third. Those videos are very great and helpful. I love Think Media TV, and I also watch a lot of video influencers. And Filmora also has a bunch of great video input videos as well. They have they have YouTubers talk about what made them so successful, and how to use your program, and what they recently just came out with some videos about what programs they would recommend if you don't want to use Filmora, from their perspective. So I mean, they really put their Filmora in there, but they also give you some really good other alternatives as well. So I thought that was really helpful and a great video. And it shows that they're not just out for self-promotion, in my opinion. But I would promote them seriously. I love Filmora. It is a really easy program to use. It's really fun. They have tons of not tons of music, and that's my only drawback of them. I wish they had more music, but they have great filters. Some of them I don't use. I'm like, I would rather have more music than anything. They do have great transitions. Love the transitions. What else? I love the fact that you can film film your screen. So that's awesome. I actually would have liked if you can, they do have two separate programs, and it's kind of like, I forgot what the other program is called. And it's more for gamers. Supposedly they advertise that more for gamers, but I think that it would have been cooler if you could use the regular Filmora and film yourself and do your video work at the same time like that, because some YouTubers want to do that. But if you order the gaming one, you probably could film yourself and what you're working on your computer. So getting a good camera, I have the Olympus Tough camera. Love this thing. Seriously, I love it. It has like a flip out screen, and so for me that's great because I can honestly see what I'm doing. It does have an app, but I don't use the app because I can actually just look up really quickly and not have to look at my phone or have my phone in an angle so I can see exactly what I'm doing. So I just need to look up and say, oh, it's out of focus, let me just move this way or that way. So that quick reaction time is really good as a crafter. So for me, I love that feature. Like I said, I never really use the app. I've used it maybe once, but I was like, I like the fact that I can actually see what I'm filming. So the view from the viewfinder, and it just flips in and flips out. I can have it bent in a certain way and then raised up in a certain way. But so it works really well for me, and so that's my thing. But if you're going to use your phone, honestly, I would recommend Filmora Go. It is their app for their little for filming, to help you edit your video while it's on the phone, and it has transition, it has titles, it helps you edit the video much better, and it looks a little bit more professional. I mean, that's to say that having phones from the video is not professional. I just think that if you want it to look a certain way, this is the way to go. There are other apps out there, so you may just have to check it out for yourself, but I just started using Filmora Go because I can now film from my iPhone, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. So you can even do voiceover, so you record whatever it is you're doing. So I was thinking about it. I was like, wow, what can I do to show, like, if I'm designing something, like, let's say from my Cricut app from the phone, and I was like, what could I use? And I was like, oh, let me go back to Filmora Go, because I was using it, but I really wasn't using it. Like, my phone just had too much stuff on it, so I couldn't really use it, and I was like, but now I can definitely use it because my phone records, and that helps, and I can use a voiceover and all that good stuff, and it doesn't have that black lines. I can transition certain things. It's just really great, and I love it. It's a little wonky, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little wonky. It has not a very steep learning curve. I did watch a pretty good video. I do wish, and maybe in the future, that maybe Filmora has more videos of that and adds more content to it, because like the titles are basically like just words on your screen. I wish it would have had like a little bit more updated, like what's it on the on the desktop version. But I do still like it. I think that the couple of videos that I did use that I used that on was really cool, and I enjoyed it. So either which way, you have good options in that department. Lighting is key. There are a bunch of videos out there. I do not recommend anything right now because my lighting situation definitely needs some help. So I'm going to be working on that soon. I do have a boom stand. I do actually have a light stand with a boom stand. And that was a pain in the neck, and I have to thank David for putting that together for me. My situation, like, I have to be honest with you, my boomstick and my light stick are ridiculously huge for this little itty bitty camera, but I had to think of something. I didn't really actually think about the measurements. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to make this work, and thank you, David, for helping me out with that. Because I couldn't figure out, like, I was looking at a bunch of different videos how to make a boom arm or a camera rig, so that I can point down. And at one point I just said, oh, forget this, like, I'm just gonna try. And actually I didn't try. I just said, David, if you think you can make this work, then, or we can try and make, there was a bunch of videos of how to make a camera stand so that it could actually look down on the surface that you're working on. And I've seen a bunch. I even saved a couple of videos. But that situation worked out, so I got that on Amazon. And yeah, you can get a lot of stuff on Amazon. I honestly didn't see anything on eBay because I looked on both places. Amazon seemed to be the more well stocked in that department. And if you guys want to take photos, I actually have a camera, a little like tent camera thingy there. I can also link you guys to that. I don't remember where I got the boom arm though. I'll figure it out if I look at my purchases. So, alrighty, I've given you a lot of information, so let's kind of recap here. We really don't need to recap for the podcasting because you guys already got that recap. So you want a name that you can translate to everywhere. Social media, whether it's and you do podcasting, you want it to be a name that you can be happy with 10-20 years. You want to make your description on your YouTube page as descriptive and not too wordy, because there are people that don't like to read, so you want to get to the point as quick as possible. You do have the option of having a 1-minute video letting people know who and what you are, what you are and what your channel is about. So that is also a great option. So you may want to look into that. You want to put good quality videos. YouTube does have its own little editing system, but you also may want to get your own type of editing system. And again, YouTube has a bunch of videos about that. I personally use Filmora Go, and I also use for my phone. For my phone, I use Filmora Go, and I use Filmora by Wondershare. Basically, it's Wondershare Filmora and Wondershare Filmora Go for the app. So that's what I use. You want to make sure you get good lighting. And again, YouTube has a bunch of options for that as well. Also, believe it or not, for podcasters, YouTube does have some options in terms of what you can use if you don't want to use your phone, what headphones, lighting, and all that. Well, you don't need lighting, but they do have good tech ideas for that. And you want to have fun. You want to be engaging, and you want to remember to interact with your, the people that follow you. Don't forget to follow them back. And actually, which is my huge mistake, I have to try and start, I just give a lot of thumbs up and I don't really leave comments. So I gotta start doing that. I gotta start using, my voice in that area instead of just giving people thumbs up and let them know, hey, I watched the video, and it's really, really good. Because I don't want them to think that I don't follow them anymore. It's probably best if you do leave a comment, something that's really personal, letting them know that what you liked about the video. And yeah, so that's my tips and tricks about being a YouTuber and or a podcaster. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you found this podcast helpful. If you have any comments or questions or even your own advice, please leave them down below. Or you can always email me. My email address is eileen@eileenlittlecrafter.com. And if you have enjoyed this podcast, I've been thinking about videos lately. If you've enjoyed this podcast, hit that like button, that heart button, or star button, letting me know that you have enjoyed it. And thank you for listening, and bye for now.